But I mean, I didn't need one over here. I was never going to go like this, my left hand. I was either going to, I don't know, something.
Yeah, you can like come over and then come back.
Oh yeah, roll back, something. So.
All right, let's see, we're doing 309. We'll get started.
Couple more minutes?
You guys will be,
want to go 5 more minutes?
Huh?
Want to wait 5 more minutes?
No, we'll get going.
You sure?
Yeah, I want to get these guys started, so.
I don't mind. I can wait if you want.
I don't think that.
Do you want to try?
You guys were here yesterday.
So like what time? Till 4?
You nervous?
Nervous first time? No, I've been nervous lots of times. No, like 45 minutes, right? Ish. I'm not going to talk that long.
That's okay.
I hope people have questions.
So anyways, thanks for being here, guys. This is Graham Niemi. He's going to join us for our first talk. Graham Niemi's the assistant coach at Yale University. Graham was an outstanding long stick at University of Maryland. Last year, Yale won the Ivy League championship and just really got hot down the stretch and went out and played the first round of the NCAA tournament against Notre Dame. And Yale, Graham has been a defensive coach a lot of his career, but lately he's been doing the offense at Yale. But he's got some really good drills and things that he's going to share with you today on the defensive side of the ball that I think would be awesome to be able to implement with your team. So I asked him to speak on defense. I still think, as good of an offensive coach he is, he's one of the best defensive coaches I've ever been around. So, Graham Niemi.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Hey guys, thanks. I'm gonna a little background here. These two drills there's 2 drills that kind of are the staple what we've done defensively. One is a 4-on-4 kind of automatic double thing. And one is actually a 4-on-5, meaning 4 offensive guys versus 5 defensive guys. And kind of what we went through was in 2010, we had a really good group of offensive guys, and we were in a situation where, like, kind of going into the fall, we knew we were going to start 3 freshmen. And I don't know, I mean, you can imagine, I know what a freshman in high school is like, and imagine starting, 3 of them, and we were in the same situation where we had 3 good kids coming in, we kind of knew they were going to start, and it was a matter of trying to kind of create some drills and some situations that we could really accelerate their learning. We knew we were going to have to become more of a sliding team than maybe we were comfortable with. Because we just had 3 young guys, and one guy ended up being, and still these guys are seniors now. One of them will probably be a guy that get drafted for the MLL. He's really good and turned into a great cover guy. The other 2 are more like their system guys. One's a great ground ball guy. One's just really smart. But anyway, going back to what we were getting through is we just kind of had to teach them quickly. We didn't have any older players we had a lot of comfort with, so we kind of came up with these 2 drills, and so. What we kind of started with when we talk about defense in our program is rules, and everyone does it different ways. I listed a couple of them here. Basically typically for us, we kind of like to say, no crease goals, no dodging goals, kill the ground balls the first time, no sweeps, and no dodges get past the goal line extended. Like if we were to have 4 or 5 things that we were to say, these are things we really believe in, and we hold the kids accountable to. I think those would be 5 of them. Sometimes they change a little bit week to week. Going back to when I first was a defensive coordinator as a young coach, I was fortunate enough to have some guys teach me a lot about how to build a defense. And a lot of the guys that I work with kind of taught me that defense is one of those things where it can't be too gray. I always feel like it's better when it's black and white. I feel like the more gray there is on defense, kids have to make too many decisions. But if you hold them accountable to a few things, whatever they are, then at least they have some things, some standards to be held to. So like, typically if you come to a Yale practice, if those 4 or 5 things happened, one of those 4 or 5 things happened, excuse me, so kid's going to get yelled at probably, or he's going to do push-ups, and so like a lot of times when we're doing drills on defense and we get up a dodging goals, you see guys do push-ups, or we get up a crease goal, you see guys do push-ups. So that way we have things to, just like I said, to be accountable to. So the first thing I'll talk about here, I'm going to draw it up to, is our 4-on-4 bulldog drill. So what basically it is, we put 4 guys on the perimeter. Typically we'll start out in a box, so 2 guys behind, 2 guys up top, these drills also are really good for our offensive guys. Because we're basically a motion team. We're probably the simplest of all the, sometimes we go into a game, we have like 3 things on offense. We're very, very, very simple. And so they do lend themselves to what we do at that end of the field as well. So offensively, kind of what we're trying to do is initiate dodges with a pass across the top of the box or through X. We're going to dodge, throw 2 passes, try and dodge again. We're trying to beat the defense with ball speed, not with a home run pass. And the 4th thing is we're not actually going to cut or anything. We're going to stay kind of 4 on the perimeter. Defensively, we're going to force the ball down the alley. We're trying to defend the goal line extended. We're going to slide to every dodge. So to the drill, we tell the kids, you go. There's no thought process here. It's great for the defense because they all have to react, but it's also great for the offense because it really puts them in a situation where your dodge is really a dodge to pass. So it helps us with our dodging fundamentals. We're good at, we know we're going to dodge, but we know a guy's coming, so we can get in, we can step away, we can throw ahead or back. One guy moves, everybody moves. So defensively, once one guy slides, everyone's got to go. We recover, just so you guys know, we recover. So when we slide to the ball carrier or the defender on the ball, we actually recover one pass behind the direction of the ball. So in my world, so if this was offensive guy, offensive guy, offensive guy, offensive guy is the ball. And so we could be defender, 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 defender. Okay, and so in our defense, we always recover one pass behind the direction of the ball. So this guy was the dodge. Okay, in this drill, we would slide adjacent. Okay, and then again, if the ball was to go forward, okay, we recover one pass behind the direction of the ball. And that's everything that we do. So in this situation too, if the ball went this way, the recovery guy goes that way. And so what I'll do once we're standing here, and I'll go one more here. So the fifth thing I wrote here was slide and recover in 1.5 passes, then reload and go again. So 1.5 to me means if we were to have a dodger, okay, that's one pass throwing forward. By the time the ball is in the air to this guy, we hope that we're reloaded and ready to go again. So I'm just going to put some terminology up here since we're standing here. So in our defense, basically, red equals adjacent. Okay, and black equals crease. Okay, and then the terms that we use when we slide, obviously we actually call out the direction of the ball. So ahead would be a forward pass, and a jam would be a throw. We call it a jam, but a throwback. Okay. So again, let's just going back to this. What we would be, guy on the ball. Obviously, we just in this situation we'd be left, right, two, and then actually when the slide came and the ball was passed, the kids actually verbalize the direction of the ball. It's something that we actually changed. I'd never done that, even in my time coaching defense for a long time. In 2010, we started doing it, and I was amazed at the impact it had on our recovery. We were able to match up much quicker than we ever had before. So those are some basic terms that we have. And so just going to the drill here. So what we'll do is usually we'll have, yeah, please.
Why do you think that happened? Just because because your players knew where to be when they verbally heard where it was, and so it's an automatic reaction rather than kind of guessing where it might be?
Exactly. Yeah, and I'd always coached defense where we recovered to the inside after. So like if you were this guy here on the ball, and the ball you got slid to, I had always recovered to the inside for so long. I think everyone pretty much does it. And then all of a sudden we were kind of saying, well, we should be doing this. And so we said, all right, well, let's verbalize the direction of the ball so that way we can react accordingly. And that also, like a lot of things in communication, if when you start saying it, you start doing it. I mean, it's really that simple. And it's something that really helped us. And so that's what we'll basically do in the drill. So we'll start the drill here. We'll dodge. There'll be a quick slide. This guy's coming quick. Everyone's going to be rotating, obviously. All right, and we hope that, in the drill, we're going to move the ball quickly, oh boy, and get it out the other side. Okay, and then by the time it gets here, hopefully, all right, you're reset, okay? Okay, into these spots. All right, and then what usually will happen is this guy will probably dodge. Sometimes it ends up going back up here. And going back to the rules, we try and defend the goal line extended. So if this guy was to try and dodge, we want to funnel him in this way, and as soon as he starts to go, we're gone this way. Okay, and again, if the ball goes this way, for some reason we verbalize it's ahead. If he circles back, it's a little bit harder below the goal line because of the but it's a little bit easier up top. We'll still verbalize that. So if the ball goes this way, he just says ahead, and this guy recovers out that way, and we try and keep it going. One of the things that we do, and I actually do this with my club. I coach a club group in the summer, and we do this all the time. We actually will do all short sticks on defense because sometimes our attack, the attackman can't handle a good long pole, and the drill sometimes goes to die, and you lose the impact of learning how to work together on the perimeter defensively. So sometimes we'll go out and do it all shorts. If I'm really not happy with them, we'll do it with no sticks. That's obviously really difficult for the defense, but it's great for the offense. It gives them a chance to move the ball and keep their hands free and see the double team, and they're able to get away from it without guys beating on them. So we'll mix that up a little bit. So some of the variations that we'll do. It's right here. Like one of the things that we like to do is offensively we've kind of gotten away from. This may sound nuts. We don't really shoot the ball on the run down the alley ever. I just don't really like to do it. It doesn't really go in too often. And so we wing dodge a lot, especially on secondary, what we call secondary dodges. So we do this a lot, okay, out of a diamond. Because in our motion offense, we end up having a lot of secondary wing dodges deeper in our possessions. So we do it a lot this way. So again, it'll be the same setup. Okay, and so we're just, like I said, we're trying to defend the top side here. We funnel them this way and we go right away. And everyone's rotating. We verbalize the direction of the ball. If it goes this way, it's ahead. If it goes that way, it's a jam. And we recover accordingly and try and do it again. I actually like this one better. It's a little more realistic for us. Because I feel like down the alley we don't get a lot of those early slides. Some people do, we don't. But again, in this situation we do get some early slides, and so it enables us to throw it through X. And like a lot of teams, we just had Matt Gibson, who's a great player for us, and he was here a lot in our offense. So it gave him a chance to catch it and feed it and make a play, and helped him develop those skills and abilities. So let me look at Oxen and Diamond. Other thing we'll sometimes do, going back to the first one, I mentioned this before, as the kids get better at moving it. Let's say here. Let's go back to this guy as the ball defender. Defender. All right, this guy has the ball. What we'll do is actually we'll kind of, knowing that this guy is coming, I'll allow this guy to become the feeder. It's great for their development. So what'll happen is sometimes it's going to be a through ball here. So what I'll tell them is, we're going to let this guy, the first pass off the dodge, become the feeder. So if they come early, all right, and this guy will actually have his hands free for a second, and we'll allow him to skip it through on this pass, okay, and a lot of times that'll be a shot. And it also teaches him how to read this recovery here. So again, we slide, he recovers into here, and then he's looking through to see if he can get it through there. So that's a good one for us too. And sometimes I'll let this guy creep up to the goal line here, as well. So that way sometimes we'll throw it down and zip it across. Actually, believe it or not, when we played Cornell in the Ivy League semis, they shut off. We had a Canadian kid that scored like a zillion goals. And he was on the crease, and we were in a deuces, and they shut him off. And they were coming adjacent. And I was like, and it was about in the middle of the first quarter, and they come in, they go, hey, coach, why don't we just have us stand at the goal line? I'm like, yeah, like bulldog drill. And they're like, yeah, like bulldog drill. And they would Matt Gibson stood right here, and Brandon Mangan stood right here. There's actually a goal in the game where Matt catches it, and because they're all coming adjacent, because they're locking this guy off. And we threw a pass that we'd probably thrown 1,000,000 times in this drill. And the kids were like, it was awesome. They were ecstatic. So unfortunately, Dempster's not in school anymore, Canadian kid, but anyway. So that's kind of what we do with that. It's fun. The kids like it. It's a good change of tempo, and it's something that we do all the time. It's amazing how often we do it. I mentioned I'm sorry, what's your name?
Mike.
Mike. I mentioned Mike when I first got here. One of the things that we do in practice is I stat practice for the offensive guys. So I basically have a sheet with all their names, goals, assists, points, turnovers. And this is one of those drills where like some guys will turn the ball over a lot. And this is one of the times when they can be good with the ball, they can score a lot of points. And this has helped us a lot with our ball speed. We move it quickly. Guys got to make good decisions. There's going to be 2 guys on you. So it's something that's really helped us. So now the next part of what we do is what we call 45 drill. So just to maybe give you guys, if you guys actually decide to do some of this stuff, the way we do it, the way I do it with my club kids when we do this in the summer, is we'll, because they're a little not as advanced, obviously, as the college kids, we'll do this drill first. We'll do a lot of it. The kids love it. And so they'll get better at it. They're starting to get a feel of it. And then what I'll do is basically in 45 drill, oops, don't grab that, is we basically, let me just do this. All we're doing is adding a fifth defender. So we basically practice the red slide first because it applies to a lot of situations. And one of the ways that we explain our defense is that we are, if you can picture this, our base defense is a black slide. It's a crease slide. But once you slide, and there's 2 guys on the ball, so you have 4 left. Anytime you have 4 left, that means you're in red. So we're basically in black to red, okay, until we matched up again and we can go black. So once again, we're in black. If we slide out of the crease, we're in red until we got to imagine those 2 guys are never coming back. The guy on the ball and the slider. We picture it that way, believe it or not. God, they're not in the play anymore. It's you 4 now playing 5. So you've got 4 is 5 is red to us. So we're in red all the way through recovery, and then we go back to black. So basically what we'll do, and what we'll do after we do bulldog drill, we'll take boom, boom, same thing. Ball, 1, ball, boom, boom, boom. We had a 5th guy, okay? And the 5th guy, let me just make this a little bit better. Okay, the 5th guy is our slider. All right, so we'll throw the ball in. They can get it around if they want. Sometimes we do, so it depends on what we're doing and how fast paced it is. A lot of times we just throw it in, we get it up top, and we go. All right, so now we're in, so there's communication here. Now we're in black, okay, which means this guy's 1, all right? And then what we do is we actually, and this does not apply to everybody, but we actually fill in, and we actually 2 slide from this guy most of the time. And well, not against everybody, but I would say 90% of the time, we 2 slide from 1 pass behind the dodge. So we're 1 and 2. We got this guy can help in a little bit. This guy's obviously, you know, he's on the left. We'll slide out of the crease. Okay, this guy's going to dodge. Let's say he passes it forward. So we make that a head call. Okay, and again, what we'll actually do, since this guy's the 2 in our defense, if you're the 2, all right, this ball goes here, you actually become the crease. Okay. And then this guy here would recover, okay, 1 pass behind the dodge, okay? And then now, what we'll do now, we're doing the ball gets here to here, we're in bulldog drill now. So the crease, this guy going into the crease, he does one of these, he takes a knee, and he calls out red to everybody. He's going red, red, red. Everyone, we're in red, because he's the guy that has to reload the defense at some point. Because he's on. If we want to get back to black, he's the guy that's going to have to verbalize it. That makes sense to everybody? So we have him actually go to the inside, and he's the one calling out red to everybody so they know. And then we're basically in that drill. We're in bulldog drill now. So if these guys throw it here, if they throw it here, when this guy starts to go, we're just going to double him right away. And what we found out when we first started doing this was we were amazed that the guy that slid, right, and now was on the ball out here, when we went to double this guy, he just totally forgot what to do. Once he slid and got to the ball, I joke about it, he basically blacked out. This guy would miss the slide every time. And so what it did for us was, and this is going back to 2010, it exposed the guys who stopped playing. You know, I think one of the things about lacrosse, about the best lacrosse players, is that they have great, what I call turnaround time. So they go from picking up a ground ball to throwing it to somebody, and they don't stop. You know, those are or guys, they turn it over. The best players are the guys like they have it, they turn it over, and the other team picks it up, and this guy chases the guy down after he got stripped. He gets it back. You know, those are the best lacrosse players. And we found out that our turnaround time, which is what I would call this, going from one play to the next, for that guy was terrible. It was awful. It was so bad. And so when we do it now, our older kids are very good at it. But our freshmen come in, and they're the ones that screw that up. So basically, again, going back to what I was saying, we basically go from 45 drill to bulldog drill. And that's how we'll start it out. So we'll go, if we were to do this, we might do this 3 days a week in preseason, every day in the fall, because we only go for 10 days. And we'll never actually, at least when we first start doing it, we'll never actually reset it to black. We'll keep it in red, just to work on that and get a feel for it. The next progression for us would be to actually reset it to black. To say, all right, what we're going to do, guys, we're going to dodge, we're going to let them dodge, we're going to come out of the crease, we're going to recover, and we're going to let him throw 2 passes. And this guy's going to stand up. I told you he's in the knee. He's going to stand up and he's going to go, we're in black now. And he's the one that verbalizes to everybody. So everyone's got to echo his call. We're in black, we're in black, we're in black. And then that's how we reset and we come from the crease again. So that's kind of the next phase of it for us. Believe it or not, actually, I did it with my 9th graders last summer, and I never thought they would get it. And I was amazed. I thought they picked it up pretty quick. I was pumped. And it really helped our communication with the kids. I coach the club kids like once a week in the summer, and they picked it up real quick. The offensive guys liked it because one of the things I think, I've coached some high school in the summer. I think I don't know about you guys. I think the hardest thing for a high school player is to not feed the crease in their dodge. Is that accurate? I mean, I know when I get freshmen, that's the thing that they. Every time, right? I mean, my guys are terrible about it. I mean, I get freshmen from good programs, highly touted guys, supposedly, and they'll dodge and they just chuck it in there. I'm just like, holy moly, man, what do you guys, I mean, it's never open. And this drill and bulldog drill breaks them of a lot of that because there's nobody in there. So they have no choice but to throw it forward or throw it back. And so some of the variations, I'll get a little technical here. Now, when I first started doing this, I've become very good friends with the Army staff. And so I kind of shared this with them. They were like, wow, that's really good. And then, so I went to a practice the next year, and they were doing it. And Coach Alberese comes over to me and he goes, Graham, I would never want to move this much in a game. And he goes, but it helps us understand how to move. When you see us play, we move around a lot on defense. I think in a perfect world, if I was coaching the defense or if I had maybe a little more input, we probably wouldn't move as much. So the next component of it is, I think, which makes a lot more sense to me as a former defensive player, is on the second dodge, you try not to slide. Okay, so let's just imagine that this alley dodge happened. Okay, they throw it here, and let's just say you're still in red. The component I think makes the most sense, and we're doing this a little bit more now than we ever have, is you tell these guys, now we're not sliding. We're just going to show adjacent a little bit. And teach them how to step down and help out on a dodger and get back to your man. So like if this guy was to start dodging and he was coming this way, we'll tell this guy, we want you to, well, yeah, now it's this guy, but yeah, whatever. We tell this guy, step down and then come back to your man. If he starts going this way, we'll tell this guy, step across, come back to your man. So we start teaching that component of it. So now, again, trying to move this much, that bulldog drill type defense, in a game is very difficult. We do a lot of it, and it's hard. But this part of it is more what we're doing now. We have a new defensive coordinator, this guy Andrew Baxter, who's been at Ohio State, and he's terrific. So one of the things, he doesn't like moving that much. He's like, wow, these guys are crazy. They're sliding like all over the place. And so so one of the things that we started working on more was, again, dodge, throw it ahead, and say, all right, we're not going to double right away now. But what we're going to ask this guy to do on the ball is do a great job, all right? And we're not going to help you as much. What we're going to do on both sides of you is we're just going to help. We're going to really sink in and step in and help a little bit and bluff on both sides. So we call it a show. So like if you were to go to terms here, so we call it. That'd be it. We call in our vocabulary, we call that a show.
You're just trying to run the man with the ball, kind of showing that that there is help there.
Right.
You're not committed.
Almost like it's 2-on-1. I always tell the guys when even when I get in there a little bit with the defense. It's one of those things where you never want to turn your hips. If I was covering you and I was covering a guy here, I'd step down this way. You know what I mean? And then I'd still be able to get back to you. And we practice that a lot. I think in Division I, I feel like a lot of teams are playing that way. It's one of those things that just you have to deal with. It's great for our offensive guys because they learn how to, for instance, if this guy was going to dodge here and he was going to show, it teaches us how to step in behind him a little bit. You know what I mean? Sometimes this guy will actually move out a little bit and we'll throw it to him and then dodge the show guy. But those, I mean, that's obviously advanced stuff. But yeah, that is more comfortable for a guy like me, you know, because it's a little bit.
You got a lot of moving, but you want offense. You want to see that.
I tell you what, in 2010 we struggled with it, offensively. We couldn't. They would kill us in practice sometimes, because it's hard. Because sometimes you think it'd be easy, but you got to have guys that can make plays. You do. I mean, and if they're recovering quickly enough, then it's over. Like it's over fast.
Yeah.
You know, it's over fast. So. Let me see what else I've written down here, variation-wise.
Did players take more risk because they thought that the advantage was there? Was that
Offensively?
Yes, offensively.
Yeah. It just, I mean, I think I would probably tell them was, listen, guys, they're going to be exhausted in a couple minutes, so let's wear them out. You know what I mean? But it's easier said than done, as we all know. I mean, eventually they get antsy. They want to throw it through. They want to throw it in. They want to do all those kinds of things. This is a little bit harder to score, as you can imagine. Because we're outnumbered, but believe it or not, we do this pregame. One of the reasons we do it pregame is that I can't tell you how many times in a game that the first play of the game a guy dodged against us and just ran down the alley and shot it and scored, and we don't slide, and we have slid to everything for like 5 weeks of practice. So and you guys have probably seen it too. And so we started doing it in pregame. It got us in the mode of dodge, offensively dodge, pass. You know, share the ball. Everyone, it's kind of realistic. Defensively, it got us in a communication mode right away, where we're going and we're filling into the crease, and it's kind of like what we normally do. And if we had some kind of adjustment in where we say, listen, on the first dodge up top, we're going to go, but on this dodge, we're not. So if we had that ready to go in a game, which we probably would, we could practice that, which is great. And so we started doing it pregame. We usually do. We don't do bulldog drill, we do this. But we usually do this for probably 5 or 8 minutes before every game. It'll kind of morph into a 6-on-6. We'll kind of stop it and do a couple 6-on-6 possessions, and then then we kind of play. So it's been a good one for us. I've given it to a lot of people, and I think everyone I talked to has liked it. And I think with a lot of things, 6-on-6, like even when we do 6-on-6, I'm about for you guys. Us practicing 6-on-6, half field sucks. It just because there's no. You're getting reps, but I don't know. For our kids, they like doing this better. We get more out of this. Sometimes I get more out of doing this out of a box or even out of a diamond than I do out of doing 22 motion or 13 open or whatever we're running. I'll get more out of this. I get more ball movement. I get more guys with touches. I get more guys dodging. It just works out a lot better for me. So we do a lot of it. We do a whole lot. Like I said, we do the same exact thing. I didn't mention it here, but we do the same exact thing out of both wings and a diamond. We'll do the same exact drill. And we'll dodge off the wings, and they'll come early out of the crease. Our defensive guy, Ryan Poley, is not with us anymore. He loved that because for some reason we saw a lot of wing dodges and 1-4-1s, and sometimes he'd want to come off the X guy, which makes some sense sometimes, but he would do that. And he liked it. He liked it. We had some guys that were nifty too. So like on a wing dodge, we could slide adjacent sometimes, and we have one guy who could knock down that pass through X sometimes. So, but yeah, it's kind of it. Questions? No? It's not that complicated. It's amazing. Well, what else can I answer? Yeah.
Is this drill more of a zone type drill?
The way I look at it is that if you want to be a sliding team, you are kind of in a zone. You know, we're man to man. I mean, it's man to man. I mean, there's nobody cutting through. So I mean, if they were to cut through, or we just tell them not to. We're more worried about just guys being on the same page. And against the teams that we have, what we kind of have, we feel like we have to stop is, if teams are going to play motion offense, for instance, the first dodge you should be able to stop. That's kind of, and I tell our kids, listen, they're going to stop the first thing you do. It's if you can get organized, the second time they go, is when I think defensively you really start winning some battles. And that's what we're basically doing. We're basically creating an organization that says, on the first one we're doing A, and on the second one we've got two options. We hope we can get back to black, but if we can't, we're prepared to be in red. They move the ball faster than we can recover, or if we fall down in recovery, which we've all seen that, then we have an option and we can be organized and we have a chance to stop them. And that's kind of how we've approached it from that perspective. But one thing I didn't talk about, and I don't know, it's different in high school, but I could touch on it, is where you pick up black. Yeah. So I don't know how much you guys talk about it, but I know we do. So if you were to draw half a field here, when we're in black, we try and pick up 5 yards outside the box. And then when so that's black. Okay? And when we're in red, we pick up right at the top of the box. The reason is for us is in black, because it's a crease slide, it's a little bit longer, and you got to